Welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network, where knowledge is power. All right, on the line we're joined by Jim Clingman. Of 1 Million Conscious Black Voters and Contributors. Okay, so now we had him on last Monday, and I wanted to have him back this Monday. We ran into some technical difficulties, but I wanted to have him back anyway. But Jim Clingman is the nation's most prolific writer on economic empowerment for black people, African Americans. His weekly syndicated newspaper column, Blackonomics, 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 is featured in hundreds of newspapers, magazines, and newsletters. He has written 7 books, 5 of which are on economic empowerment, and has been the featured speaker for numerous organizations, schools, churches, and events across the United States. He's the former editor of the Cincinnati Herald newspaper. Jim Clingman is the founder of the Greater Cincinnati African American Chamber of Commerce and has been instrumental in establishing several other chambers of commerce around the country as he continues to promote economic freedom for African Americans. He was an adjunct professor at the University of Cincinnati for 12 years, where he taught black entrepreneurship and the history of the black church. He taught business planning at Smart Money, a community services center in Cincinnati. He taught public speaking at Cincinnati Christian University, and he also founded Cincinnati's Entrepreneurship High School in 2001. Jim Clingman has received many awards for his journalistic work, including the prestigious Black Press of America's 2008 Black Press Champion Award from the National Newspaper Publishers Association and Foundation. So we want to welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show, Jim Clingman. How you doing tonight, Jim? All right, I'm all right, brother. Good to have you back on, man. Good to talk to you again. Absolutely, good to have you back on. Good to talk to you again. Well, look, I know it's coming up this weekend, October 6th, your National Planning Conference for 1 Million Conscious Black Voters and Contributors. So if you would, tell people what is going to take place this weekend and why it's important for people to attend.
Well, it's our national training gathering that we like to call it. And basically, we're going to not only provide some training for those who would aspire to be leaders in this movement, and we have members in some 35 states, I think now, thousands of members. So we're inviting them to come to Philadelphia for some very intense training, leadership training and direction for them as they go back to help organize our members in their particular states. In addition to training, it's certainly going to be an outreach effort to bring in new members. And again, it's going to be in Philadelphia this coming weekend. And we are inviting members and non-members to come. On Friday, we will have a training conference, but we'll also have a press conference, and we'll have Dr. Julius Garvey there as our keynote speaker for the day. And we're inviting all the black press, all the black media to come out and to become familiar with the 1 million conscious black voters and contributors. And then on Saturday, more of the same. Cynthia McKinney will be speaking. Brother Antal Lumumba will be speaking as well. And it's just going to be 2 days of information, packed activities, and some fun too afterwards, and some food, of course. But our main goal is to provide some insight, some training, some encouragement too to members to go back and to continue with this movement that we started a little over a year ago.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Now, when you talk about training, we're coming up on the break. When I bring you back from the break, I want you to talk about the type of training
Okay.
that people are going to receive. And the reason why I say that is because oftentimes when we hear about politics, we hear about voting, but we
Yeah.
don't hear about training. Okay,
Right.
so that's
Right.
that's very important. That's very important. Okay, stand by. We're coming up on the break. Just stand by. Okay. All right. You listen to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network with Knowledge is Power. We're speaking with Jim Clingman of 1 Million Conscious Black Voters and Contributors. We'll be back in a few minutes. Visit our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. We have the information for tonight's show posted right there. And you can share that on your own Facebook page. Invite your friends to tune in. We'll be back in a few minutes. Hello, African History Network family. This is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network and host of the Michael Imhotep Show and the African History Network Show. I want to let you know about a fantastic offer we have available at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can get our Empowerment Bundle Pack, which is on sale right now for only $50, regularly $110. You get 6 of my DVD presentations for one low price. You'll get one of my latest presentations, Empire Strikes Black, the propaganda of the media, and Malcolm X 50 years later, why is he still relevant? This was recorded Easter Sunday, April 5th, 2015. In Detroit. Also, you'll get my presentation dealing with the history of Black Wall Street from destruction to the resurrection of economic empowerment for African Americans. This was recorded November 3rd, 2014 in Seattle, Washington. You'll get my presentation, The Distortion of the Legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., The Revolutionary Will Not Be Televised. The Revolutionary Will Not Be Televised. This was recorded on Dr. King Day, January 19th, 2015 in Detroit. Also, you get Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, What They Didn't Teach You in School, Part 1 of the Media's Deliberate Destruction of the African American Family, and also one of my presentations dealing with the prison industrial complex, Slavery's Back in Effect, the hidden relationship between the prison industrial complex, the new voter ID laws, and black population control. So you get 6 of my DVD presentations for only $50, regularly $110. It's item number 767 at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Also, you can get the Michael Imhotep Bundle Pack, where you get 18 of my presentations for one low price as well. That's available at our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. So place your order today. Remember, right knowledge corrects wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you is based upon what you think about yourself. Mod Hotep, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace. Welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network with Knowledge is Power. All right, that was Watoto from the Nile. Watoto from the Nile, the Black Wall Street song featuring Dr. Boyce Watkins. That's on YouTube, and visit their website, watotofromthenile.bandcamp.com, watotofromthenile.bandcamp.com, and support those young sisters that are putting out conscious hip-hop. You can get their latest CD, The Chosen One. The Chosen One has 17 songs on it. They're out of Baltimore, so support them. Okay, we're speaking right now with Jim Clingman, who is the co-founder of 1 Million Conscious Black Voters and Contributors. We're talking about the national conference coming up this weekend, Friday, October 16th, and Saturday, October 17th in Philadelphia. All right, so let's get them back on the line here. Okay, Jim. So right before the break, you want to share some more information with us. Go ahead with that.
Right. Our training that will take place in Philly, October 16th and 17th, is primarily geared toward folks who are serious about leadership. Those who are already in a leadership position, for instance, as a state rep in one of the 35 states in which we have members, or someone who aspires to being a leader in this movement. And that training will be geared toward that primary objective. Secondarily, the purpose of the gathering is simply to give an opportunity to interested parties who may take a look at us, go to the website, they read it, they understand it, they may want to decide to be a part of this movement, and certainly we would love for them to be there with us as well. And as you alluded to before you went off on break, this whole notion of voting, now our name suggests that we are involved in voting as well as contributing, and what the contributors do is a multiple set of things. But I'll talk about the voting. As you suggested, we just go and vote. You know, there's not a lot of organizing other than people, you know, getting people to register. We see that every year. We got to register people. And you see all these campaigns. But we need to be informed voters, Michael. And we also need to understand and then manifest that understanding into action by leveraging our votes. How do we do that? First, by being organized, creating a vehicle through which we can organize ourselves with a cadre of committed, non-apologetic, conscious black people who would say, look, I'm going to leverage my vote along with another million black people, and we're going to get something back for it. This whole notion of quid pro quo has been lost among black folks. Because we give up our quid and we get no quo. Simply because we think that voting is the end-all, the be-all and end-all in this political process to get power. We ought to know by now that that's not true. We want voting power, but Michael, we settle for the power to vote. Wow. And we fight for the right to vote, but we fail to vote right. So our movement is concentrating on organizing first, as Marcus taught us, and getting our people to understand that voting as a bloc, committed bloc, will leverage our votes to the point where we can have some say-so about what happens in public policy as it affects black people in this country.
Right, exactly. And you mentioned Marcus Garvey, and Marcus Garvey was big on organizing and teaching our people the need to organize, which is huge. And unfortunately, a lot of our people, you know, we focus on the protesting portion of it. Some of us focus on the protesting portion, but not the actual organizing and the strategizing and then the implementation of those strategies. So that's extremely important, what you're doing and the type of training you're doing. Explain to people briefly how, you know, so give them a little background information on 1 million conscious black voters and contributors, because this whole concept is different. And once again, this whole concept is different than what we've been taught about politics and how to engage in politics for the last 50 years or so.
Right. Well, there's a lot I could go into to give you background, but because of time, I'll just try to truncate it as much as I can.
Okay.
It goes back, this movement, the advent of the movement, goes back to what we talked about last Monday, the event in Detroit, where Amafika, Giuka, and myself met as part of a team with Dr. Claude Anderson and several others who presented the concept of Maroon City, some call it African Town, to be built in Detroit. Now, before we got there, the council had approved it. Not everyone approved it, but it was approved. At least a plan was, the development plan. We came a few months later to present it to the public. That's where Amafika and I met. When the Detroit project failed to come to fruition because of what we talked about last week as well, the black politicians there and some checks being passed, I'm sure, to folks to get them to go against it. Amafika and I continued to stay in relationship, and we called a meeting in Cincinnati, Ohio in 2006, a year later, to talk about what can we do? Okay, Detroit didn't work. Here's some other things we need to go after. And it was all about three things: politics, education, and economics. From there, we started a group we had a meeting in Kernersville, North Carolina at Joe Dudley's facility. And we founded the Nationalist Black Leadership Coalition. And we had a couple of meetings in Atlanta, just continued to talk about how we can empower ourselves across those three areas. And just about a year and a half ago, there was an article in Atlantic magazine written by a guy named Theodore Johnson, I think his last name is. And the title of it was, "Does Black America Need Its Own President?"
Wow.
Now, Bill went off when I saw that, because in Kernersville, we came up with a concept called the President of Black America. This was in 2007. But then the whole groundswell of Barack Obama possibly being first black president, that kind of took over and took all the oxygen out of the room. So we put the concept on the shelf until we saw this article. And then Amafika and I talked about it. We said, hey, it's time to dust off the POVA. We call it the POVA, P-O-V-A. But in addition to that, we said this could be the leverage point for us pulling together our people in a block to vote, as well as a way to leverage our dollars. So it just came together that way. And in January of 2000, dates have escaped me now, I think it was 2015, I think it was this year, we had our first organizing meeting in Greenville, South Carolina, and put some meat on the bones and, did our strategies and plans and objectives. That's how the movement got started. Amafika and I called some people that we had worked with years ago, Monica Williams, who was in on the initial meeting in 2006, and a few others, and we just put our heads together, and here we are today with the 1 million conscious black voters and contributors.
Wow. Okay, that's a great story. Now, let me ask you a question. Now, there are going to be a lot of people who are listening who maybe can't make it this weekend, what have you, but they still want to join the organization, find out more about it, etc. What do people have to do to join, the movement? I should say, you say it's not an organization, so to speak, but the movement. Right. What do people have to do to join?
It's so simple, it's almost ridiculous. All they have to do is go to our website, IamOneOfTheMillion.com. IamOneOfTheMillion.com. We ask them to read the information. There's a ton of information, but read as much as you can. Understand what we're doing. If you find something there that you can commit to, something you like, something you think you can get involved with, then just scroll down the homepage and fill out the form. That's it. No joining fees, no monthly dues. We just want people to be involved. Now, part of that involvement, of course, is, we're determined to pay our own way. We're not going to go get sponsors and go to Wells Fargo and everybody else and beg them for money. We're going to do this with black money. And we are asking people to purchase the products that we have, and we only have a few now, but we'll have more. We're asking people to help when it comes to fulfilling our annual budget, because movements cost money.
Exactly.
So, but our goal, Michael, is to spread that obligation across as wide a range of people as we can. So if we have 10,000 people, we say, okay, everybody send in $20. That shouldn't hurt anybody. We're not looking for one person to finance us, one corporation at all. We want everyone to commit to, number one, changing their party affiliation to no party affiliation. We don't need to be supporting any party blindly like we have been doing for the last 100 years. In addition to that, we're asking people to commit some of their time, their talent, and their treasure, very small amount, relatively speaking, to the budget and to the activities that we must do in order to expand this movement. That's it. Fill out the form, commit to it, and follow through. That's it. If you want to get involved in some leadership, you want to be a state rep, you want to help another state rep, just let us know. We have a conference call every month.
Hey,
the second
hold that.
every month.
Hold that thought, Jim. We're going to we'll continue that on the other side of the break. We'll wrap up on the other side of the break. Just stand by. Okay, we have to take a quick break. You listen to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network, where knowledge is power. We'll be back in a few minutes. Visit our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. We have the information for tonight's show posted right there at the top of the page. You can share that on your own Facebook page. Invite your friends to tune in. We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network, where knowledge is power. All right, that was Living by Arrested Development. Living by Arrested Development. Visit their website, arresteddevelopmentmusic.com. arresteddevelopmentmusic.com. Okay, right before the break, we were speaking with Jim Clingman of 1 Million Conscious Black Voters and Contributors, talking about their national conference coming up this weekend, October 16th and 17th in Philadelphia, talking about training that's necessary to engage in politics from a perspective of African Americans winning and understanding quid pro quo, something for something, how to negotiate something based upon how to negotiate something tangible for your votes, and how to push your agenda as well. And we also talked about how you can get more information. Visit their website, IamOneOfTheMillion.com. I am the word one. IamOneOfTheMillion.com, and how you can sign up. It doesn't cost any money to sign up either. Scroll down to the bottom of their page, of the homepage. But also, they have their 15-plank platform on their website as well, which explains their agenda also. So let's bring Jim back on. All right. Okay, so Jim, I know you. I want to hit on this quickly here, because I've been in Detroit 44 years, born and raised here. I remember when Dr. Claude Anderson was coming with Maroon City, and I remember when he was sold out by most of the members on City Council. Two members who did not sell him out were Kwame Kenyatta and Joanne Watson. But we had people here in the city. One of them in particular, former Councilwoman Kate Everett, who actually wrote an article for the. She wrote an article for. It was picked up actually for the Detroit Free Press, and it was picked up by another entity. This article was actually called. It was picked up by Amren, AMREN.com, American Renaissance, and this article was actually called "For the Love of Detroit, Reject Racist African Town." For the love of Detroit, reject racist African town. Give people a little background information on this, and then also the role that the mayor played in this also, please.
Well, as I said, I wrote a two-part article on Powernomics in 2004, October of 2004, in anticipation of going to Detroit that next year to help Dr. Claude and the others to start putting the structure together for the establishment of Africatown, or Maroon City, as Claude named it. So in 2004, the development plan had been submitted, and it was approved, the plan. The land had been identified. The financing had been identified. And then, as 2005 rolled out, there began to be this resistance to it, from what I know now, even though we didn't know it back then, by certain folks on council, as you mentioned, Kay Everett, and she wrote that scathing, ridiculous article about Maroon City, calling it a suicidal form of reverse racism for Detroit. I mean, I was shocked to hear a black person say something like that, and say that if we brought it, it would be an Detroit.
So was I. I was shocked too,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah. And I said, well, what is Detroit now? You know, she was talking about that would be an embarrassment. But anyway, Kwame Kilpatrick
Former,
was the mayor,
right,
and he gave his tacit approval up front, but then later turned on the project and called it separatist and racist. And for the life of me, you know, I again, just amazed that a black person who's supposed to be conscious would say something like that about a black economic enclave being developed in a black city
right,
known as Detroit.
right. Because he came out of the shrine of the Black Madonna, and this is why a lot of people.
Yeah.
This is why a lot of people thought this was crazy. He came out of the shrine of the Black Madonna. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, and my contention is that somebody paid them off. They got a call from somebody downtown and said, no, we don't want to do this. And all of a sudden, when we got there in 205 and did our meeting at the Joe Louis, I think they call it Joe Louis Arena or Cobo. Maybe they changed the name.
Well, you have a Joe Louis Arena and a Cobo Hall. They're both downtown Detroit.
Maybe it was Cobo, but you know, I know we had to have over 1,000 people there. And matter of fact, that's where I met Tim Moore, who you mentioned last week.
Right.
And about a month after that, Claude called and said they turned it down. And the mayor was against it, and I started looking up articles like you did, newspaper, Free Press, and other articles saying how bad an idea this was and how racist it was. It was just absolutely astounding that black people could label something that would lead to economic empowerment for black people as racist and reverse racism and separatist and suicidal. I couldn't believe that, but it happened. And we have what we have today. And today, we look back recently, in recent years, I've written a couple of other pieces on Detroit. And I remember writing one where I was talking about how all the houses were being sold, you know, and the prices and how people were buying 100, 200 at a time.
Right.
I noticed a stat, Michael, that said that the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Dan Gilbert, who has Quicken Loans there, and, you know, he's from Detroit.
Correct.
Good guy. Met him in Cincinnati when he built the casino. But they were talking about how much property he owned. Matter of fact, I came up there and visited his tech school. And it was across from that Doc Leach Cadillac place on that street. And I noticed in the article that Dan Gilbert owned so much land in Detroit, they didn't measure it by acres. They measured it by square miles.
Wow. Right. He owns he owns a lot. And in downtown Detroit also, he owns a ton of buildings also.
Yes, yes. And look at what black people, first of all, gave up, and then did not promote to the point to where we could have owned much of that property and we could have controlled some of the economy. But we walked away from it. And it was a sad, sad day when I learned about what had happened with Africa Town.
Right. Well, yeah, it definitely was a sad day, man. And I just talked to like maybe about 3 months ago. I talked to Councilwoman Joanne Watson, former Councilwoman Joanne Watson. We were at an event at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. It was Operation Hope. John Hope Bryant was speaking there. Operation Hope. But she was one of the panelists. It was a panel discussion, and she said back in the 1990s, African Americans in Detroit, we were, I can't remember if she used the word upset, but we were either not pleased or we were maybe upset some, that back then we owned 22 buildings in downtown Detroit, African Americans. Today we own one.
Yeah.
Today today we own one building in downtown Detroit. Back in the 90s we owned 22, and we were disappointed then. But you know, and now you have a lot of these Negroes out here who are talking about we're progressing here in Detroit. We're progressing. Detroit's coming back. We're progressing. Things like this. Question now I ask is, what are we progressing towards? Go ahead.
Right. That's right. You're exactly right. And, you know, everything is relative. I understand that. But that kind of mantra coming out of black people now is just absolutely ridiculous, because who is the we?
Right.
We are progressive. Who's the we?
Right, exactly. We sick, boss. But look, man, okay, look.
you got it. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, look, what I want to do, we're coming up on a break. We're going to wrap this up. I'm going to bring you back for just a couple minutes on the other side of the break so we can wrap this up, okay? Just stand by.
All right.
Okay, you listen to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network with Knowledge is Power. We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network with Knowledge is Power. All right, we're speaking with Jim Clingman of 1 Million Conscious Black Voters and Contributors, 1 Million Conscious Black Voters and Contributors. Visit their website, IamOneOfTheMillion.com, IamOneOfTheMillion.com. Okay, and remember that this show is podcasted. If you miss any of the show, visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Click on radio shows at the top of the page and click on the link for the Michael Imhotep Show. There's the link there for the audio podcast of our show, so you can listen to it in its entirety there. These shows are also automatically uploaded to iTunes as well. Okay. All right. Now, let's bring Jim back on. Okay, Jim. Now you just sent out an email talking about your thoughts on the Million Man March. Now I know you're going to be on Carl Nelson's show tomorrow morning. I think you said 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
6 o'clock till about 8 probably.
Okay, 6 a.m. right? 6 a.m. to about 8 a.m.
Right.
Okay, all right. I'm about to figure. I may catch the last part of that because I don't get off the air, man, till like between. I don't get off the air between midnight to 1 a.m. Okay, looks like we have a call here. Just a second. Let's try to get them in quickly. Hold on. Okay, hold on just a second here. Let me see if I can merge the two. Okay, all right. Caller, do you have a question or comment? Caller, you're on the air. Did you have a question or comment? Okay, they hung up. Maybe they didn't. Okay. Because this is like the third time they called, so I brought them on. So maybe they didn't know what. Okay, anyway. All right. Now you just sent out an email, Jim. Million Man March thoughts. Okay, 20th anniversary. You want to talk about this a little bit? Is that okay?
Yeah. Go ahead. It was just a simple piece of information I got. Of course, I watched the whole thing, but
I watched a lot of it too. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got called today, and I was wondering if you saw this. Someone told me that there were this case that D.C. was going on, and they blocked off or fenced off about a 2-block piece of land there on the mall for vendors, and they were white vendors, and there were only 4 black vendors that were there for the Million Man March. And I thought about that, and I said, wait a minute. And then they told me that you had to pay $20 to get inside the food venue for the Taste of D.C., as well as pay for the food. And you had to pass it on the way to the buses. So I was thinking, wait a minute, was this a setup or what? But you know, if you follow my column, I've written several pieces about this, how we have our protests and our meetings, and most of the money goes to white folks. And I thought about that in this particular instance, that, black folks going to eat somewhere. And after standing all day, I imagine a lot of them, I know a lot of them, went to those vendors at the Taste of D.C. And I was thinking about this piece I wrote called The Profit of Protest, where we count the numbers of people who came, and white folks count the dollars that they made from our protest. And it just struck me as very, very peculiar, but yet not surprising, that some folks other than the folks who called the event figured out a way probably to make most of the money that was spent there on the mall that day.
Wow. And, I was hearing some things because I was reading some comments on my Facebook fan page, the African History Network, and I was hearing some things. But this time around, it didn't seem like we heard the mantra or really heard the focus coming from the organizers of supporting African American owned businesses, supporting black owned businesses while you're there in DC as much as we did 20 years ago. They probably talked about it a little bit or something, but 20 years ago it was more of a dominant theme. You had people talking about not spending dollars with non-African American owned businesses that day and don't show up to work. This is what they were talking about 20 years ago.
That's right.
Yeah, this time around it was different in that focus on supporting African American owned businesses was not nearly as pronounced, and I'm trying to figure out why. I don't understand. I don't understand why. Okay.
Well, Michael, let me just say that I know a lot of people who came this time were not there 20 years ago like we were, but that's one of the main reasons that we have the word conscious in our name for the movement. A conscious black person would not do certain things, especially with his or her dollar. Mm-hmm. And I know the 4 vendors that were there who were black, they probably were overwhelmed, and all that. But when we went 20 years ago, we stayed at a black bed and breakfast, ate there, walked down to the mall, stood all day, bought our food from black folks, and drove back to Cincinnati, my friend and I. And the more we can raise our consciousness about what to do with our dollars among ourselves, the less we'll see these kinds of things go on. And it's not just what happened Saturday. It happens all the time. When we go places, we spend most of our money to get there, to stay there with businesses other than our own.
Right. Well, you know what I did on our Facebook fan page, on my Facebook timeline, I saw a list of African American owned restaurants in Washington D.C. Yeah. So I posted that on the fan page. It got about 5,000 likes. And Friday night, unfortunately, it was late, and we were trying to find an African American owned restaurant, and the one that we knew of, because I'm from out of town, I was with Dr. Boyce Watkins, what have you. One we knew of, it was closing at the time that we were just getting out of our event, what have you. So we couldn't do that. But I posted that, and a lot of people saw it. Actually, one of the restaurants contacted me, and we're going to have them on the show this week. So, because they said somebody told them that we posted the information on our Facebook fan page, and I think they got a lot of business or so. So that's
well. There's no way we can always spend all of our money with black-owned business.
Right.
That's just unrealistic. But to the extent that we can, to the extent that we have some choices, we should choose to support our own first, even if we have to go an hour and a half without eating and go to a place where we can spend on, at a black restaurant. Where I understand circumstances, but consciousness will make you look beyond the circumstances and do what's right for your people.
Exactly. Well, once again, people, visit IamOne, the word one, IamOneOfTheMillion.com. IamOneOfTheMillion.com. They have information about the upcoming conference this weekend. Well, Jim, good luck to you all, and we'll talk to you soon, brother. Okay, we have to have you back on soon. Okay. Okay, thank you. No problem. Peace. All right, that's Jim Clingman, 1 Million Conscious Black Voters and Contributors. You can give us a call, 888-669-2281. 888-669-2281 is the call-in number. When we come back, we'll talk about the Justice or Else rally, the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. Did you go? What did you think about it? Did Minister Farrakhan say what you wanted him to say? Were the things that you wanted him to say that he did not say? One of the things that I heard is that people were waiting. He spoke for, I think, probably almost 3 hours, but people were waiting for the plan to be revealed, the agenda to be revealed, and some people walked away and felt that an agenda or plan wasn't revealed. There was a call to action, and there was some good things, talking about supporting our own businesses and some other things he talked about as well. But a lot of people were waiting for a plan, an agenda, and some people walked away not getting that. So we'll talk about that on the other side of the break. Listen to the Michael Imhotep Show. Welcome back to the Michael Imhotep Show right here on the Empowerment Radio Network, where knowledge is power. All right, that was Greener by Arrested Development. Greener by Arrested Development. Okay, let's go to the phone lines. We have on the phone lines we have director Rick Mathis, director of the film Black Friday. Hey Rick, how you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. How you guys doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. You wanted to comment on the? I just had Jim Clingman on. You wanted to call in and comment on that?
Oh yeah, I definitely, love what those guys are doing. Jim Clingman and Amosika, and I think that it's a powerful movement, and it's a good solution for us to, participate and practice group economics and practice doing things as a group. It's a good thing. The voting block, voting as a group, and practicing economics as a group. It's very good.
Absolutely.
Your brothers on that.
Absolutely. Now, isn't Jim Clingman in the upcoming film Black Friday?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's definitely one of the staples in the film, Black Friday. Him as well as on the feature.
Okay, good.
We had a street scene in Washington, D.C. with on the feature when we were outside with Dick Gregory and some of the Muslim brothers standing outside of Southern Union Baptist Church.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And when does the film premiere?
The film will premiere in Atlanta on Friday, November the 13th, so Friday the 13th at Impact Event Center. But we're doing a full weekend. That's the premiere. On Saturday we will be at Plaza Theater, which is independent film theater here in Atlanta on East Front. But and then we're doing a brunch on Sunday. But we have all the itineraries, the links, the information on the website, which is thefilmblackfriday.com. Tickets are $10, for the screenings. We want to keep it low so, people can, come out and enjoy the film and, see what some of the solutions that we have to offer, because it's definitely a solution-based film.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I was in Atlanta, I guess it was 2 or 3 weekends ago, and we filmed our portion of it also. So I'll definitely be there for the weekend of November 13th in Atlanta for the premiere. I encourage people to visit the film blackfriday.com.
Black Friday.
Yeah, the film blackfriday.com, the film blackfriday.com for more information. You can get text message updates. Follow them on Facebook at the Film Black Friday, the Film Black Friday also on Facebook. And this is going to go to other cities across the country?
Oh yeah, definitely. We're planning a city in Ohio, so all the people that are listening will definitely be in Ohio in November as well. We'll release that information, as soon as before the ink dries on the paper. So we'll definitely be in Ohio. So I look forward to that.
Okay.
Well. To the listeners, you can also text Black Friday, all one word, 33444. Dial 33444 and text Black Friday to subscribe to the email list.
Okay, excellent. I'll try to make the one in Ohio also, because I'm in Michigan, so we're just right next door.
Yeah.
So I'll try to make the one. Where in Ohio is it going to be? Which city yet?
We're not going to release the city yet.
Okay.
But, it's definitely in the Midwest in Ohio, and we also talking to Dallas as well. So.
Okay, I'll try to make Dallas.
We have a lot of people that are calling, wanting to do screenings on the film, Philadelphia, New York as well. So we'll definitely be on the road, allowing people to see the film and, having dialogue and discussion about solutions to our economic problems. Because that's the premise of the film, and that's the goal of the film, to spark dialogue. Once we start to talk about it, then we'll begin to, formulate solutions and apply solutions to our economic problems.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's the solution. You have to understand the nature of the problem, analyze the history of the problem, then strategize and come up with solutions to the problem, and then organize and implement the solutions to the problem. So that's extremely important. If people are interested in, we have people who listen who are members of the Black Chamber of Commerce in their city, or different economic empowerment organizations, maybe National Black United Front, things like this. If people are interested in organizing a screening of this film, what should they do?
They can go to the website and contact us at filmblackfriday.com. We have a contact on there, or they can just email us at thefilmblackfriday@gmail.com.
Okay, the filmblackfriday@gmail.com, and I'm trying to make as many other screenings as I can, because it's always good when you have people who are in the film there to do the panel discussion, answer questions, etc. So I just did the Black Wealth Matters forum with Dr. Boyce Watkins. We did that at Howard University this past Friday. We were in D.C., yeah, and that turned out really well. People learned a lot, and we were able to share a lot of information. I mentioned the film there also to the audience as well. We had about 300 people there, so I mentioned the film to them, told them to be on the lookout for that also. So, yep. All right, brother. Well, look, you have a good night, man. Thanks for calling in, okay?
All right. Yeah, thanks for having me. Thank you.
No problem. Peace. All right, family. That is director Rick Mathis, director of the film Black Friday. Dr. Umar Johnson is in the film. Hill Harper, actor Hill Harper, singer Johnny Gill, New Edition. David Banner, rapper David Banner is in here. Tony Browder, Professor Kava Kamene, also known as Booker T. Coleman, Dr. Claude Anderson, Judge Hatchett, educator Chike Akua, just a few of the people in this film, Black Friday. This is going to be a huge documentary. I'm in it also. We filmed a lot of, they filmed a lot of footage of me. I was dealing with a lot of history, dealing with economic empowerment. I dealt with the Black Freedmen Indian Treaty 1866. I dealt with a lot of information, African people being indigenous to this land, also here at least 51,700 years. So look out for that film, the Black Friday. Look out for the film Black Friday, okay? And visit their website, theblackfriday.com, thefilmblackfriday.com, thefilmblackfriday.com. All right, if you have a question or comment, give us a call, 888-669-2281. 888-669-2281 is the call-in number if you have a question or comment. Did you attend the Million Man March 20th anniversary? What did you think about it? I heard some people talking about the fact that they were looking for more of a concrete plan revealed by Minister Farrakhan. There were some good points made about economic empowerment and you know, voting and things like this. But they were looking for, some people were looking for more concrete plans. Okay.